Hello, Doc, alcoholic addict,
Hey, Doc.
amongst other things.
Hey, Doc.
Welcome to another fantastic edition of Sober School. Kind of just doing maybe a little continuation on the whole. I've been nerding. I've been nerding out past 3 weeks or 2 weeks. So why not make it a 3? You know. Does anybody know what this means? Cogito ergo sum. It means
the origin of the word.
it's definitely Latin in origin.
Yeah.
But it means I think, therefore I am. It's one of the older philosophical tenets in existence.
What's it say, Doc? I can't read it.
Cogito ergo sum. And it's like one of the OG sayings in philosophy. It's been around a minute, and it ties into. I was doing some research, and it ties into something that has been said based on my research, stated and restated and restated and restated throughout time. Basically, we are what we think about. Like that is real talk. Like I'm talking, the exact wording varies, but as a core idea, that a person's character, life, or destiny is shaped by their thoughts. It's appeared repeatedly, independently, like a bunch of people all over the world, all throughout history, came across this same saying. Like, we are what we think about. Like, early Buddhist texts, ancient Indian philosophy, classical Greek philosophy, scripture and theology, Islamic philosophy, Renaissance humanism, Enlightenment philosophy, all the way into 19th and 20th century psychology, and more modern self-help and cognitive science like CBT and DBT. Scholars typically identify somewhere between 40 and 60 distinct formulations of this very same idea. And there's like philosophical, theological, psychological texts, and just it's been restated hundreds and hundreds of times. You probably pay attention. You probably see something about it on your Facebook wall, or Reels, or TikTok. And the reason it keeps appearing is simple. It describes a psychological truth humans keep rediscovering. Like, this is not... It's kind of outside the realm of coincidence that this same statement has been stated and independently discovered over and over and over and over again. Like the likelihood, every once in a while you get pyramids in South America around the same times you get pyramids in Egypt, okay, and in Kush and surrounding areas, but like that in of itself, okay, that's just the easiest way to build a tall thing from an engineering standpoint in Stone Age tools. But this is a little bit more in depth. Buddha, back in the 5th century BCE, before Common Era, in Dhammapada, verse 1, all that we are is the result of what we have thought. The mind is everything. What we think, we become. And this is the earliest known explicit, it's kind of been hinted at, but it's the earliest known explicit formulation of this idea. It places mental causation at the center of human experience and ethics. And why it matters is this became the foundation of Buddhism. Like, which is, like, there's people who are Buddhist as a religion, but I study Buddhism as a school of thought. It has a lot to do with balance and and really, man, study some Buddhism. You want to talk next right thing, Eight Noble Truths, like or the Eightfold Path. It's all about that next right thing, but it has a lot to do with balance and finding the middle path. The Upanishads, somewhere between 800 and 300 BCE in India. Man is made by his belief. As he believes, so he becomes. This reflects Vedantic philosophy, linking thought, belief, and identity. And why it matters, it influenced Hinduism and also Buddhism, and later Western metaphysical thought through its translation. I know we're talking about Latin, but Greek. Aristotle, in the 4th century BCE, it's kind of paraphrased, and really records aren't super great. He didn't exactly say we are what we think about, but he argued that repeated thoughts form habits, habits form character, character just determines destiny, and this is like the Western rationale framework for that same insight. Less mystical, more behavioral. It's like OG CBT, like cognitive behavioral therapy. One of my favorites, like I think is probably, other than Buddhism, this is the first time. Well, in the Bible, Proverbs 23:7, recorded around the 6th or 4th century BCE, in the King James Version at least. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. And this phrasing became one of the most quoted versions in Western culture and in self-help literature and so on and so forth. But William James, back in 1890, said this: the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind. And this is like, he kind of put it really succinctly, and he was kind of bridged the gap between ancient philosophy and modern psychology, and influencing CBT and neuroscience, and why it keeps appearing across cultures. Humans notice the same pattern. Like, thoughts lead to emotions. Emotions lead to actions. Actions lead to habits. And habits lead to identity. Different civilizations express the same thought using spiritual language or moral language, like in the Bible, logical ethics, back to Aristotle, scientific psychology, modern CBT. And each time it sounded new, but it wasn't. This is an old thought. Like, this is why we do stuff like setting attainable goals and practicing gratitude in morning meditation. We talked last week about trying to shift or alter that negativity bias we have in our brains. Like, literally, like 90% of the stuff we notice is negative. And there's reasons for that, but that's not how it has to be. By practicing mindfulness and practicing gratitudes, we can rewire our brains. All right. So we're going to do an experiment real quick, and this is like you people on the interwebs as well. All right. So I want you guys, like, I'm going to have you close your eyes in a second. All right. But first, I want you to look around the room and find everything that's blue. Count blue things you can see. All right. Everybody got a number?
We got to count.
Is that a number?
We got to count.
Well, yeah, to count how many
I'm
blue.
going to say what I found.
Well, no. I like. All right. Do you got a count? A rough count, rough estimate of.
I got 9.
Well,
12.
All right. Now hold on. Everybody, close your eyes. Close your eyes. No peeking. No peek. Hey, you.
Sorry, my bad.
All right. No peeking. All right. Now, how many green things are in the room?
What?
16.
How many green things are in the room?
I know.
Without opening your eyes.
Chairs are green.
That's crazy.
Yeah, there's gotta be like 18 of them.
This is a trick question.
Well, see, like,
I'm so confused.
There's gotta be 18.
Do I count each one of her nails or not?
well, it just illustrates my point. Okay, when we're looking for blue things, we're not thinking about green things. If we're looking for negative things, we're not noticing positive things. And really, it's all right. So, like we'll stick with green. All right. So like there's like green is not a super common color of car, right? All right. Most of like black, gray, silver, brown. You know, but I bet you, since we're talking about it now, in the next week, you're going to notice a bunch of green vehicles. Because, or maybe it's like even weird ones. Maybe like yellow. When was the last time you saw a yellow car? Or a purple or something like that. I will bet you $1 in the next couple weeks, you're going to notice a car that's a weird color because we're talking about it. Because we've put that on our mind. We're going to notice a weird colored car. And it just illustrates how powerful your mind can be if you know how to operate it. And because there's so much, like, the mind is, it's such an incredible machine. Like, all right, so it's just a big lump of water and cholesterol and little receptor sites that respond to catecholamines and other neurotransmitters, and self-reinforcing wiring, neurons that wire together. If you think about the same thing over and over and over again, your brain will actually produce neurogenesis, which makes new connections. It's gonna widen that neural highway towards that thing you're thinking about all the time. And by controlling and being mindful, pun very much intended, on what we are thinking about, we can like rewire our brains. We can undo so much of the damage and so much of the negativity, because it's really easy to notice negative stuff. But like I don't like. You ever read The Secret? Like it's trash in my opinion.
We
Like
started watching some of it, like manifestation, law of attraction type shit.
yeah, well, like, hey man, if you can just visualize yourself with a Ferrari, you can have. Hey man, if I find it unhealthy, I like it. It's ultimately probably counterproductive to just expect. Oh, I'm picturing myself with a Ferrari. That is a bit extreme. But there is something to it. There's been studies that have proven, like athletes, just by visualizing themselves doing things that were thought to be impossible, accomplishing that. Like in martial arts, a lot. So much is visualization. You see yourself doing this move, and like you've already done it in your head before you do it in real life, and you can accomplish amazing things. Like
They close their eyes and do the Air Force and like Formula One.
Yeah.
Close their eyes and do the tracks and stuff like
yeah,
that.
visualization is crucial because we limit ourselves. For a long time, nobody could do a 4-minute mile. It was thought to be impossible. There was even a article in the New York Times saying whoever breaks the 4-minute mile should get a parade and a hearse, because because even medical science thought it was impossible. Like you're gonna kill yourself trying to do this. And time progress, we'd maybe get a tenth of a second closer to that 4-minute mile every couple of years, right? But then once a dude ran a 4-minute mile, like, oh, okay, this is possible. People are running, like, beating the time, like, every year. Something that was thought to be impossible, once you see it's possible, this guy just, like, didn't limit himself. Okay, I think I can do it. Saw himself doing it, did it. So much of our limitations are self-imposed. Like, Arthur Tate was a jazz pianist. Like, super, super talented. Pretty much blind. He kind of played, he saw like white and black and stuff, and he could kind of read music, but he couldn't read words like very well because he was pretty much blind. And then one night he was playing requests, and as a joke, somebody said, "Oh, I got some sheet music," and they put a duet in front of him, and he couldn't read that it said duet, but he could see the notes, and he played the duet. He played 2 parts, 1 person, just because he wasn't. If he saw it, hey, play this duet, he probably wouldn't have been able to do it because he would have been limiting himself. But like, you don't. If you think it's not possible, or if you think it's possible, you're probably right. But it has a lot to do with your intention. And like, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. If you don't know something is, a lot of times if you don't know something's impossible, you'd be surprised what you can accomplish. And in recovery, the idea of manifestation is often misunderstood. You know, it's like just wishful thinking. And please let me know if you get a Ferrari by picturing yourself with a Ferrari. Please picture me with one too. I would greatly appreciate it. Hard to argue with results. But I think hanging your hopes on just, I'm going to picture myself with picture myself with a Ferrari and then get a Ferrari. But modern neuroscience and psychology offer a grounded reframing. Sustained attention, belief, and identity reshape the brain, influence behavior, and support long-term healing. And it's so much like, man, it's gradual at first. Like there's certain people, probably watching this, like, or will be watching it in the future. Hi, future you. And like, man, you see this. I have the privilege of seeing this gradual change in a lot of you guys. And you guys start to get it, and pick up on things, like no, like don't. It's so cool, like, and it starts off gradually and then it progresses exponentially because it's compounding, just like compound interest or investing in the stock market, like, because you're not just investing the initial effort, you're investing effort on top of the effort and gains you got from yesterday. We have this negativity bias, like, so much happiness can be achieved just with creative accounting, let's say. So when you file your, it's tax time's coming up, when you file your taxes, like, the only thing you have to pay taxes on is realized gains. That's the only thing that counts. They only count the W's. If you lost money, it actually works in your behavior. You pay less taxes. Like, but by focusing on, okay, like, just the realized gains, That's the only thing. Just if you only count W's, all you do is win. It's just the long and the short of it. Like what's I don't know, Nelson Mandela. When you lose, don't lose the lesson. But yeah, like you can view losses as, oh, I didn't lose. That's an opportunity, or I didn't fuck up. That's an opportunity for growth. And you focus on the stuff you did right. And modern science supports this. Neuroplasticity, repeated thought, and mental rehearsal physically rewire the brain, supporting new habits and reducing reliance on automatic coping behaviors, which is something we have all struggled with. Emotional regulation. Focused attention and cognitive reframing calm threat circuits and strengthen prefrontal control over impulses. You know, like the CIA did this study years ago and like basically studied how a bunch of people handled torture. Right? And okay. And there were certain people you just couldn't break. Like, no, it didn't matter what you did to them, how long you kept them up, or waterboarded them, or pulled out their pinky nails, you couldn't break them. And they found they had this one thing in common, basically, rather than when something was going on, all right, so the mission just collapsed. And they start noticing this, okay, my heart rate's rising. My hand's shaking a little bit, and my ears are hot. Okay, being aware of what's going on with your body actually keeps those signals away from your amygdala, your fight or flight response. And it causes you to freak out or get mad. And it keeps in the prefrontal cortex where you're in control. The sensory cortex. Like, you reside predominantly, like you as an individual, predominantly in the prefrontal cortex. You're front and center. And by just being mindful, like, all right, instead of getting mad about something is like getting make you feel some sort of way or causing that's when we in anger management we go over like the physiological response to when you get heated. That's why we go over that. Because if you just notice that, okay, tops of my ears are hot, like my breath is a little bit shaky. You know, there's a physiological response just by keeping your focus there. Like, it keeps you in control. And if it works on waterboarding, if it works on electroshock and allows you to get through, or your entire mission you've been working on for years imploding, and you don't freak out and just focus on going to the next thing. Okay, what can, like basically CIA serenity prayer, that shit. And you go on, okay, what can I do? How do I damage control? Is there anything I can salvage? How do I get out safe? And keep your focus there. Expectation effects. Belief in improvement measurably changes stress hormones, pain reception, and motivation, key factors in sustained recovery. Just how when I know I'm doing my God's will, and then like I know, okay, I'm doing stuff right. Like that's my goal. That's how I see where I fit in dominance hierarchy as how good am I living by my God's will, my higher power. Like, how good am I serving the fellowship? And that's how I perceive myself in the dominance hierarchy. And when I'm doing good, when I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I'm doing the next right thing. I'm helping people, or at least trying. I'm making efforts to make the world a better place and clue people into stuff, because I feel, or I know that's what my higher power would have me do. Like, I am so much happier. even when I'm having a horrible day, even when everything's going wrong, I'm not, those negative emotions and negative stuff does not get to me. Like, because man, hey, if my higher power's will is to get a call at the end of the day to like deal with 6 inches of water in a basement, okay, well, as long as I'm doing my higher power's will, I'm good. And manifestation as a recovery skill, like attention trained on stability rather than fear, increases awareness of safe choices. Like so much of what we do has been in our lives and in our addiction and our alcoholism is chasing more. Like one is too many, 1,000 is never enough. We're always looking for more. We want more money, and we want more feels, and we want more feel goods. But if you change your focus, all right, on enough. If enough is your goal instead of more, your quality of life goes through the roof. Because then I was just trying to get enough, and then if you get anything above enough, bonus. Like, and identity statements. I am someone who protects my recovery, guide behavior under stress. Like I just telling yourself, like, gassing yourself up. Like, I got this. Like, positive affirmations seems hokey as shit. Like, I'm good enough, and I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me. Sounds hokey as shit, but it helps. It actually makes a difference. Like the tenet of the program, fake it till you make it, is in the program for a reason. Like, act as if, like, stuff is still gonna bother you, but like if you act as if it doesn't bother you and just keep your eyes on the prize, pretty soon it won't bother you anymore. You can literally, you got to put in the work, but you can fake it till you make it through a lot of stuff and accomplish a lot of things that you didn't think possible just by, even if you don't fully believe in yourself, just tell yourself
So.
yeah, so nice. But the placebo effect is still an effect. It's, as previously stated, it is hard to argue with results, and visualization strengthens the neural pathways before behavior is fully consistent. Before it's second nature, and you can just do it without even trying. Try seeing yourself do it. Okay, if I was going to do this, like, what would it look like? And just see yourself doing it, and then try and do it. I bet you probably get it done. And just these small repeated actions compound into lasting change. Just by it, like, going just a tiny little bit outside your comfort zone, putting a tiny little bit of effort. Like, it's just like compounding interest, because you're investing in yourself, and you're not just investing more effort. You're investing additional effort on top of the effort you put in yesterday and the gains you received from it. Just like putting money in the stock market, or preferably like a CD, something like that. Guaranteed returns, government savings bond. Greenland's not gonna buy itself. But like, I'll just take it. I digress. And this model does not claim that thoughts alone cure addiction or trauma, nor does it rely on mystical, metaphysical mumbo jumbo. Like, I wouldn't be talking about it if it were not solid science. Like, there's, for all the stuff I said, there's at very least really, really, really strong historical and anecdotal evidence to that end. recovery still requires support, accountability, and action. Thought work is just one of the tools in the toolbox, not a substitute for care. It's not a fix all. You can't just I'm just going to envision myself clean and then I'll be clean. It takes more than that, but it's one of the tools, because we really want to stack the deck in our favor. We got high and we got drunk by any means necessary. So if we put a fraction of the effort and discipline we employed towards getting fucked up, towards not getting fucked up, we will absolutely stay clean. Because I can only speak for myself personally, but I was gonna get fucked up. I was gonna find a way to get fucked up. I'm gonna fucking huff gas or steal something, or get a front from somebody, or make hooch underneath the cooler at McDonald's. I'm gonna fucking find a way to get fucked up. So now I do the same thing. I'm gonna find a way to stay clean, whatever it takes, no matter what. Yeah. And you're not just thinking substances away. You're not thinking alcoholism away. You're training your nervous system, reshaping habits, and becoming someone whose daily choices support healing. And once you start getting that, you getting that helps other people get it. That's why we only get to keep what we have by giving it away. Like this, if I say something that makes sense to you, or you get an aha moment, like, oh damn, that makes perfect sense. You do not have to thank me, because that is so fucking cool for me. That's what I see myself as. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. So man, I should be thanking you. If I get to clue you in on something that you didn't know, or make something clear, really I should be thanking you, because that's how I get my feels. Like doing these classes and stuff and thinking about this stuff all day or a day, like week in and week out, keeps my mind perpetually focused on recovery. And I can't thank you guys enough for that. And now we're getting to the weird stuff. All right, so anybody familiar with Heisenberg's uncertainty principle? All right, so basically, it's not about Breaking Bad. It's about, all right, so the more accurately you know where something is, the less accurate you are, less sure you are of its speed, and the more sure you are of its speed, the less the accuracy of where it is, because the observer changes that. You by watching something happen, by observing something, there's an effect. We're going to talk about Young's double slit experiment, or the.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. Or Davison and Germer did it again in 1927, but with Buckminster fullerene molecules fired at a similar sort of thing, where they had like. Boop. All right, so.
Isn't that basically like your consciousness of something affects how the matter reacts?
Well,
it moved in a different way.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically anything can happen. All right, so there's waves, and they get split up into oh shit, more time. All right, but basically these waves, because light's a particle in a wave, go through these little slits, and where they cross over each other, it constructively interferes and it creates light spots and dark spots, and it turns into like
You talking about light or sound or
light.
light?
But basically you get like a diffraction pattern where towards the edge there's less and less, and that makes sense, right? Just like you can YouTube it. It's pretty common sense. Once you see it, you're okay. But when they did it again, yeah, Young's double slit experiment, and Davison and Germer they did these little molecules called Buckminster fullerene buckyballs. All right, so and the same sort of thing, readings of this probability matrix on the detector. But when they covered up one of the slits, you'd think you get a bias towards one side. But as long as you're not watching it, you're just detecting when it gets there. This, because you'd think it'd be like, and then you'd think it'd be biased towards over here where the hole is, but it's not. You get the same pattern, and you can pick the hole at random, and you get the same results as if both holes were open, almost as if these particles were going through every possible path, and it just is affected by it being observed.
So they're still able to spread fully. I mean,
Yeah. As if both doors were open. We choose to shut one of the doors. We have an effect on how it's perceived. Like there's this is a little bit more out there. This is not scientifically proven, but there's a quantum connection with biology. The migratory behavior of birds, how they can know which way north is and what have you. There's a connection with quantum entanglement there. Plants performing photosynthesis in the most effective way, there's quantum entanglement there. Even the way you smell, not the way you smell, but the way you smell, has to do with quantum entanglement. And there's these things on your neurons in your brain called microtubules, and it had been shown to potentially be influenced by quantum states. So there's like quantum superposition where this thing's either it's not spinning left or it's not spinning right. It's spinning left, it's spinning right, and it's spinning both until you look at it. Once you look at it, the quantum waveform collapses. It's the way like quantum computers work. Because as soon as you look at you observe the spin of a quantum particle, that's what it is. But until it's like, then we're going to like Schrodinger's cat, the whole Schrodinger's cat experiment. And like, so he's got this, everybody's like, there's a cat in a box and he's either alive or he's dead, but he's both. Now there's a cat in a box with a vial of poison, and I think it was like a cesium so there's a cesium, and there's a detector, and whether or not like one of the particles from the cesium hits the detector decides whether or not the ampule of poison kills the cat. But until you look in the box, the cat is both alive and dead. But it's not until you look in the box that you know whether he's alive or dead. There's people have put forth that because we have this quantum entanglement going on in our brain, which typically has to be done like at liquid helium, super, super cold, but to have it done at body temperature is insane in and of itself. So our neurons affect this quantum connection, potentially collapse the waveform and decide whether it's spin positive, spin negative, spin left, spin right, whatever. Scientifically, one could posit that the way we think actually does have an effect on reality. A tangible effect. To what degree? Hard to say, and the jury's still out on that. But the observer does affect the observer. Yeah, I saw that. I observed that. If a tree falls in the wood, does it really make a sound? Well, no, because for it to
There
be
interpret it.
what? Yeah, like a sound is your mind perceiving pressure waves in the air. Without you there, without an observer, a tree in the woods doesn't make a sound. You change the world, and it's like our brains are like a walkie-talkie. You know, we're picking up on there's potential anecdotal evidence that if there is that quantum connection there and action at a distance, so if how we're observing or affecting these quantum particles in our brain in turn affect how our neurons fire, we really are connected to the quantum field, the universal quantum field. One could even call it a higher power. Like we are literally all connected and we all affect each other. And it's like a radio, right? Your brain is like a transmitter receiver of reality. And what reality you get, one could make the argument, has a lot to do with what you're tuned into. If you're practicing prayer and meditation to try and to improve your conscious contact with God as you understand Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for you, and the power to carry that out. That's dialing in. That's getting tuned in. Okay, I want to get tuned in. I want to get good reception on what I'm supposed to be doing. If you got your fucking radio tuned to mariachi music and you hate mariachi music, you're probably gonna have a miserable life. But if you got it dialed into classic rock or morning zoo, classical NPR, maybe you really like NPR. You know, you fucking get your shit dialed into fucking NPR, you're probably gonna be a lot happier than you would be if you're listening to mariachi music. You know, there is evidence and a lot of speculation and people positing that we could potentially, our minds, we are not conscious, we are receivers of consciousness. And it has a lot to what sort of we are receivers of reality. And it kind of makes sense if you really think about it. But the sort of reality you receive has a lot to do with what that receiver's tuned into. And also, please work on my Ferrari. That's all I got.
Thank you, Doc.